are entering E&C's Pod of Awesomeness.
So, Birdman, it's a big week. Not only the fact that you forced your parents to stay in a Winnebago in your driveway, but the fact that.
Well, first of all,
First of all,
you're
deflecting. Carey, what are you doing?
First of all, you're deflecting.
I'm not deflecting shit.
You're deflecting.
I'm not a shit deflector.
Let's just say you've now put us back here about 20 minutes because you're dicking around with your Wi-Fi. You can't get it figured out. Finally, you go into your home from your den there where you usually record, and you plug it into the Ethernet, and lo and behold, there's actually no problems whatsoever.
First of all, I'm not a shit deflector.
Yeah.
All right?
Fucking slap your Wi-Fi. Fucking slap.
It's better than slapping my ass.
I'm so fast I could slap
Weirdo.
Wi-Fi. That's how fast I am.
Really? You can fiber optic slap?
Yeah. I could fucking leapfrog the waves. Yeah.
You could leapfrog in the ring. There's no way you're going to leapfrog waves.
You didn't let me finish.
I saw your leapfrog, your one-legged leapfrog.
I usually kind of did tilt over to one side, and then I could drop down, and then I would hip toss the Wi-Fi waves, and then I'd fucking slap its ass.
See, I had sick vert. I could hit a nice leapfrog.
Vert. Yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah, I just dated myself there with that reference. All right. So anyway,
so
your parents in the Winnebago. They're out there like Cousin Eddie in Christmas Vacation. I got it. Okay. Poor Randy and Carol.
It's a luxurious Prevost tour bus. Oh, they're living the life, O'Reilly. Starring Randall and Carol.
Randall and Carol.
Yeah.
And John C. Reilly, just because.
Yeah.
All right, so big week, a first ever. So we can say a big week. It's bigger than big. It's huge. It's massive because this has never happened before. It was announced that there's going to be a 20-woman Royal Rumble.
Oh, they put a number on it because I didn't know whether they capped it at a number yet.
It's capped at 20, I believe, Birdman.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, it's obviously it's a huge announcement, right? And we've been talking about it a lot on the podcast in the past, especially in the past few months.
We're the feminist podcast.
Yeah, brother. And it's another huge step forward. I mean, we've seen now, a woman's Money in the Bank winner. We've seen a main event to pay-per-view. We're seeing the women's tournament on the network, and now a Royal Rumble. And we've talked about it in the past. We've heard many of the women say that it's their goal to main event WrestleMania one day, and it's a very real possibility that happens sooner rather than later, right?
So here's my little Nostradamus on that. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And you never know. It could happen piggybacked off of this. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'll be that guy. I'll be that guy who'll take that leap, who'll throw my massive chin across that finish line. I'll do it.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it is too. I mean, the women's roster is bigger than it's ever been, and you're going to get some surprises. You're probably going to get some names that you may not necessarily have heard of before, which is kind of cool, and some maybe even some names from the past of the women that initially have laid the groundwork for this for this to even happen. Look, this is a big opportunity maybe for them to come back and do a one-night only thing too. So there's that surprise element put in there as well as the roster you see every single week on Raw, SmackDown, even NXT. So it's going to be huge.
Well, and it's such a diverse roster now. And you can see that from the talent that was all in the ring with Stephanie, and you can see it in the SmackDown roster. You see like just how varied it is now. Yeah. And I know, because I am privy to being married to the Glamazon, one Beth Phoenix.
The Phoenixed one.
The Phoenixed one. That I'm surrounded by birds, basically. Yeah. So anyway, I know that for her and that is as much.
That was me
calling
that
a fiery bird.
That was me calling and her blowing fire at you.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know as I try to get to a serious point, anyway. So I know for her, as many years or as many different the creative side, where she felt like she was probably banging her head against a glass ceiling, and I know it's not just her, it's all the female talent over the years. And I think you go back to, Judy Grable and May and Moolah and Wendy Richter, and then further on you have Medusa and Ivory and Molly Holly and Victoria and Trish and Lita, and all of these talents over the years that have busted their butt and maybe banged their head against that ceiling going, okay, all right, but here's a tiny crack, here's a tiny crack, here's a tiny crack, and now this wave of talent has smashed it open. Yep. And I think it's super cool. And I think back to the first ever Royal Rumble. I mean, think back to those first Royal Rumbles when it was so fresh and so new. That's what this is. Yep. It's this completely new thing that has been revamped and completely. It's different now. It is. And like you said, are people from NXT going to be in there? Or women from abroad? Or is there going to be, like you said, blast from the past? And what matchups are you going to see that you thought you can literally do anything in this, and it's going to be crazy. Fresh. It's awesome. The cool thing is too, when you think about it, it can bookend the show, right? One can open, one can close. So it's another kind of cool thing. Yeah. Yeah. Really speaking of that, excited. And speaking of that, that's why I put in a call to Beth to join us today. You put in the call. I did. I had nothing to do with it. No. You think your phone call somehow took precedence over me going to bed with her at night? Well, she said, thanks for bringing it up because, Adam never asked me. So that would say that it was my get. Your get. Well, our guests today, our official guests, are my get. So, if we really want to go into that tally bird, you're going to you're getting curb stomped. Oh, you curb stomp me, brother. You can't do it. But before we get to the Singhs and their story, which is amazing, and I want to at least briefly touch on that before we bring them on the show. Yes, we're going to bring on the Glamour Mom. We're going to bring on my much better half, Beth Phoenix. Phoenix, and she's going to give us her take, which is a pretty educated take on what she thinks of this all-women Royal Rumble, being only the second of 3 females to ever compete in the male Royal Rumble. That's crazy. Yeah. Do we have her?
Hello?
Oh, look at that. There she is. Yeah. Hello? See, this podcast is too cheap to get me 2 headsets, so she's got to call in. Yeah.
I've actually been listening on for like 25 minutes. Just silently.
And do you see what I put up with, honey? What?
I don't know. I can't get between you guys. It's
Yeah, it's probably a smart move.
It's the bromance.
Well, the sad thing is you probably beat the shit out of both of us. So we probably really... She could live more than both of us, that's for sure. Yeah.
Well, but then who would entertain me? That would be my entertainment gone.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And the millions in the WWE universe. Yeah, see how I did that?
Yeah, but we're just on here spitballing, and we thought, obviously, the self-promoter that you are, Beth, you're always looking for a chance to jump on the E&C pod. Yeah.
Oh, me? Moi? Never.
We were thinking that, obviously this has got to be huge news for you, and want to get your thoughts on the announcement of the 20 woman Royal Rumble that was announced this past week. That's got to be, a proud moment for you to hear something like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's one of the proudest moments, I think, for any of the girls that have been, a part of the division. I mean, you could go back as far as, Mayamula, like just wanting to contribute something to the business that was more than just being a side attraction. We know that the tradition that the women come from, we were just kind of like treated like this side show, like a side attraction, and the men were considered, the main event and the main ticket selling parts of the show. And we were just I think everybody that competed there knew in their hearts, like we can be that too. We can sell those tickets and we can be the attraction too. And I think that this Royal Rumble announcement, the women's Royal Rumble, I think that is super. It's like I said this earlier in an interview, that it's like a vindication, I feel like, for all of the girls that have contributed on any level, every aspect of the sport, to just kind of finally have this moment where we're getting awarded another history-making match, a part of the pay-per-view that's never been done before, and it's edging, the role of women in professional wrestling, sports entertainment, I guess. Sorry.
I like the use of the edge pun. I appreciate that. I just had to intercut with that.
That was not my purpose, but I'm glad that you took it that way. It speaks a lot about the type of person you are.
Yeah. So now you are the second female ever to compete in the men's Royal Rumble. I mean, what could you say to expect to not only the fans but to the women competing in this thing?
So, there's so many cool, I love the Royal Rumble. It's like my favorite pay-per-view of the year. This and Survivor Series are actually my favorite pay-per-views. And the reason why is growing up as a kid, I'm sure I did what many other individuals my age did. And when that Royal Rumble came on, we were all sitting together, huddled around the TV, counting down the 3, 2, 1. And, we were all taking bets. Who's going to be next? Who's going to be next? What's going to be the surprise? And that's what, it was just such excitement surrounding, this match, this, I guess, roughly about an hour of pay-per-view time that, just always did something special. And they do such a great job of telling stories within the Royal Rumble that, there's always these interesting possibilities of folks, running into each other that had never met before. And, you might see, two extremely large competitors go up against each other, or like these mismatches and just things that you never see. And it's so cool to have it all in one place and just these endless possibilities of combination. So I feel like for the women, this is one of those opportunities. I mean, it's going to be special just by the nature of it because it's a first. But on top of that, I think that there's an opportunity to show that they can tell a story in a different way. Like the division as a whole has to tell a story and accomplish a lot of things. And that's what's so interesting about the Royal Rumble. And also the surprises. I think giving the women the opportunity to offer that surprise factor and get the crowd excited for that. Like that's what everybody's been working for all these decades. And I'm super excited to watch.
Yeah. And the thing is too, talking about surprises and that, and we had even touched on, women like yourself that have kind of laid the groundwork to kind of even help the division get to where it's at now. Even coming back for a moment like this. So I got to ask you, how's your social media feed been blowing up? Being like, Beth, you coming back for this or?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that but this is by design exactly what. This match is intended to do. It's to create a buzz around the women and to make this. This is exactly what we have all wanted, for the women to become a ticket selling part of the show, not a side attraction, not like, oh, there's the bathroom break or whatever, they're being elevated to this status. And the segment they did on Raw, and, all of the Hall of Famers and past divas and even, the male wrestlers too, excited for the women. Yeah. Just seeing everybody kind of come together and be so excited for this moment. I mean, that's elevating this event to be the history making event that it is. And just like having a woman enter the men's Royal Rumble, I feel like the crowd is ready for this and excited for it. And just like, that's exactly what we want. We want the women to be able to sell tickets just the same as the men can.
Yeah. And I said a couple weeks ago on the podcast that, it's kind of the mindset has gone from, as far as the women's division is concerned, from sex sells to talent sells. And this is definitely another obvious example of that.
Yeah, and it's not, this is not to say that the women that were sexy in the past weren't talented. Mm-hmm. This is to say that we kind of had to do what we had to do. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to do my makeup or hair before working for WWE. I never even really wore makeup. It wasn't in my wheelhouse to try to look glamorous or whatever. But, I knew that that's the product that was what they wanted at the time. And that's what was selling at the time. Mm-hmm. So there's no shame in that. And there's no shame to the women that, use their sexuality as a tool to build their brand. That was just, we're entertainers, Mm-hmm. But I feel like now the women, it's so awesome that door has been opened on showing that's not all that we are. If you choose to be, a glamorous, type of person and doll yourself up with makeup and hair, great. And then show what else you can do. But there's also opportunities for women to show different character, which I think is super cool. It doesn't have to be all about like who's got the longest eyelashes. You know what I mean? It's like, there's so many different ways that you can stand out and show that you're special and get the crowd to get invested in you, which is, again, what we're there to do, to get people to care about us and sell tickets.
Well, that was one of the points I made before you came on, or maybe you were stalking us for that 25 minutes. But I said the diversified, like you looked at the ring and you saw how different everyone was. And it was really cool to see that. Like the days of the carbon copy, one thing worked. So we'll just, hire a bunch of people that kind of do the same thing. Like that's gone. And it's really refreshing to see. I always point to Nia Jax, and I'm always really happy when I see her in there because she's so different. And I don't know if, throwback's the right word, but she's just that imposing character that hasn't been, in a long time. You had Karma and you had you to an extent, but, and China before that, but it's really few and far between that happens. So I don't know. My point being is just, I think it's an exciting Royal Rumble because everyone is so different. And that is part of what I loved about the Royal Rumbles way back is each, character, each gimmick, each, person that came out was so different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I'm totally team Nia too. I think she's fantastic. And also like what Nia does for, for herself and for women everywhere is like, she is a beautiful woman who owns it. And yeah, she's a killer too. And I think that that's so cool that it's like, just because you're being fitted in that like powerful, imposing role, that doesn't mean you have to be like a snarling, monstrous type of person. Like you can, this gorgeous woman can, kick some butt and take some names. And I think that that's where Nia's niche is really going to separate her. I mean, she's doing something that hasn't been done before. And I mean, it's obviously working for her and she's standing out. But I agree with you. Like, I think that like the diversity is really what's going to make people buy I don't know if you guys have mentioned this on the podcast, but when we were looking through, the women's, Topps trading cards, and, I was sitting with Lyric and I was just kind of laying out the cards, just seeing what she reacted to just out of curiosity. And then she pointed right to Bailey, and she said, Bailey, Bailey's a nice girl. She said, Bailey, I like Bailey's hair. I like her ponytail. That's just a photo, and from a 4-year-old reacting to a photo. And, Bailey looks so different than the other girls, and she's got a style that's friendly and appealing. And, and she appeals to that market. And I think that that's really cool. Not everybody should be, big, giant blonde hair with a bustier and looking all the same. Everybody should, there should be a variety.
Right. And not everybody can be Bailey. That's the beauty of it. It's like she's got a thing that just attracts people to go, yeah, I really like her, and I've said she's an uber baby face. Mm-hmm. All right, now here's where we put you on the spot. We say, all right,
get ready, Beth.
All right, Beth, get ready. Here we go.
Ready for the hard question.
The seat's about to get hot. Your cheeks are going to get warm. If you got to pick a dark horse, and this could be anybody. This could be, I mean, who knows? Gets thrown into this thing, right?
Oh my
Pick 'em
gosh.
time. I know. Don't take it out on me tonight. So. And I don't mean in that way, everybody, you bunch of pervs. I just meant in like she'll be mad at me and not talk to me. All right. Who do you think wins?
Oh my God. Oh, this is terrible. You really put me on the spot. See, some of the favorites aren't in it because Alexa and Charlotte are champions, so they won't be in it, obviously, because everyone's vying for their titles.
Good point.
Gosh, this is really tough. I mean, I would say like I really loved Natty's promo after the pay-per-view, and I felt like if there ever was an opportunity, for Natty to come out and do something different and just be vicious and really like stop worrying about what anybody thinks.
Friend. She's saying her best friend,
but if you put me on the spot, I feel like somebody that has a lot of momentum right now that's come back and is really making waves, and I gotta go with Paige, because I feel like Paige has had this, rough year. She's overcome a lot, and she's come back and brought some forces with her. And who knows if she hasn't gotten into some of the heads of some of the other individuals, around her, and, created some intimidation. She took down Nia Jax. I mean, when we're talking about Nia's impact, Paige took her out. So I feel like, I wouldn't count her out for how young she is. She's got a lot of veteran status, and I don't know. I'm going to go with Paige. I think she's hungry.
How about that, Birdman? You didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, that actually, I was thinking the same thing. Actually, I had it narrowed down to two, and I also thought, obviously with Asuka, the way that they're behind her on TV, I wouldn't be surprised to see that, but also would not be surprised not to see that, because maybe a lot of people are expecting it.
Yeah.
But here's a question though. But here's my query. Here's my quandary. If she loses that match, does that ruin her undefeated streak?
No, because she wasn't pinned or submitted. So that doesn't really count for a win or a loss. I've never heard that happen before, brother.
I'm doing my high-pitched sound because...
you're not the commissioner. You're not Jack Tunney, brother. You don't just make up your own rules.
So taking that one step further, that one win that Adam holds over my head, because we were in the same Royal Rumble together that he won, and he's always like,
I'm undefeated against Beth Phoenix.
I don't see, it doesn't count. You just washed away that. I think it doesn't count now. So we're still even.
I think I'm undefeated against you, but I'm just saying.
No, I don't think so. I think Jay just
was that the Rumble in Atlanta?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, yes, it was.
That's where I wrestled Ezekiel Jackson, brother. ECW championship.
And was the silence that we just had any indication of how the match went? I'm only joking. I love Zeke, and it was a good match.
It was a good match.
Yeah.
I'd venture to say it was the best match in the company.
Huh. Well, you did have that strange ability. You made Yoshitatsu look like Ricky Steamboat, and Zack Ryder look like...
what's funny is that, and I don't, how I don't like to put myself over on the podcast at all, but
no, not at all.
TJ Wilson, Tyson Kidd always used to call me the magician. And I remember coming back after that.
You just gave yourself the fake Christian laugh to one of your comments, putting yourself over.
No, it's
you
funny,
are the ultimate egomaniac. My God.
Hold on a second.
Back it up.
Let me finish putting myself over first. So first of all, I walked back to the curtain, and TJ was sitting there, and he walked away, and he shook his head. He went, "The magician at it again," and he just walked away. So he called me a magician.
So there, you're now finished putting yourself over?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
TJ's always famous for his one-liners, his little mic drops. Yeah. Drops them, and boom.
All right. Well, so we got your take, Beth. I know you have kids that are probably wanting some love, and I know how that works.
They're your kids too. Yeah,
And by the way, today
there's some diapers that need changing too.
By the way, today Isla walked out of her playroom in the back, and she said, "Daddy," I went, "Yeah." She goes, "Where's my Grinchy?" And I said, "Isla," I said, "You know where he is." And then she said again, she goes, "He lives in the mountains with Lyric." And I went, "Yeah." I said, "But he might come to visit you." So, and she's like, "Oh." And she turned around. So
he might come down from Mount Crumpet. Yeah. All right.
Oh, man.
Well, thanks, Beth. For coming on and giving us your take, because it's going to be a much more educated take than what ours is, because A, we're stupid, and 2, we're not female. So,
and congratulations to you, because without women like yourself, this wouldn't be happening without you guys laying the groundwork. So you should be very proud of everything that you did.
Oh, shucks! Thanks, guys. I am so proud, and I do just say, I say this all the time, because we have 2 little girls, and Jay, you have Isla too. Yeah. That all of these I don't want to say wins. It's not a win, but all of these hurdles that, the women in every industry, I feel like the world is shifting a little bit. And this means that for the next generation, which is our daughter's generation, their lives will be more open, a little bit easier, and they will have more opportunity than we did. And that's really the point. So, yay.
Well said. And now the show will go downhill because it's going to be back to Jay and I. So thanks, honey. And
bye.
You'll be watching with bated breath. Okay. See ya.
Goodbye, Phoenix One.
Right. Here we go.
Oh, she got in the first. Here you go. Or here we go. I even screwed it up. So that was good.
Let me ask a question. Did we just rocket strap Beth? Like if by some chance I don't want to start any rumors or anything like that, but let's just say that were the case. There's a good possibility.
Oh, so you are trying to start rumors.
She runs through night. I'm just saying, look at this past pay-per-view with Dolph Ziggler. He was on a couple weeks ago. He probably didn't mean to win the United States Championship, but it's inevitable after you get strapped. You can't stop.
It's probably by accident, but it was by accident because he got rocket strapped.
You can't stop the strap, is what I'm saying.
You can't. Usos, they've been strapped.
Charlotte, strapped.
She got rocket strapped. Yeah.
Owens,
Who else?
Zane, strapped.
Owen Zane, totally rocket strapped.
Strapped.
AJ, strapped. Hey, you know what?
People should be lining up to get on this podcast.
You know who hasn't been strapped yet and almost got strapped last week, but ruined it for himself when he decided to do deadlifts instead, was one young Zachary Ryder-Iski. And here's the thing, though. Wait, though. I'm almost willing to give him a second chance.
Yeah.
And do you want to know why?
Why?
Here's what he did. Fiasco last week, he sent me the LJN Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, man. He sent it to you? He's buttering you up.
He sent it to me. No, but this was the fiasco.
Huh.
Yeah.
He must have had an extra one or else he wouldn't have got it.
Maybe. But still, the thought was there. So I feel like we need to give him a second chance. Yeah. I feel like, of course, we still need to have Chelsea on first.
Yeah.
But maybe we give him a second chance. That's all I'm saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
Let me read you a text that Zach sent to me today.
Oh, boy.
So he said to me, the Singh Brothers with a question mark. Exclamation point. Wow. And I said, hey, you need to talk to Adam. And you were on last week, by the way. He wrote me back.
Oh, man.
I deserve to be a proper guest. Maybe even a two-parter. Not a prank call that almost ends my relationship and ruins my back day.
Ruins my...
Ends his relationship and ruins his back day.
And ruins his back day.
And then I responded to him. I said, hey, it was a present and you were selfish and fucked it up for everyone. He writes me back. Ha, 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 ha. And I said, and you hung up on us and we tried to call you back. And then he said again, I thought I was being prank called. And then I ended the text message conversation at that point.
Thank you. Can you end this part of our conversation at this point? Because that was getting painful. All right. So here's my take on it. I was willing to give him a shot. This is all unplanned, folks. I didn't know any of this text thread happened. He didn't know that I got Sarge from Zach. Oh, man, Zachary. I know you're listening. You're going to be weeping into your grilled chicken breasts after doing back day. Ooh, brother. I think you got to go back off now. And I wanted to give you the shot because of Sarge, man. Chelsea's getting on. We just got to make that happen.
Maybe if he has anything that he wants to say to us, he can write them down and she can convey them to us, and we'll make a decision based off of that. If he warrants any strapping. Because, I mean, like I said, he was in the dark match or whatever it was.
He needs strapped.
Putting Mojo Rawley over, and now, he wants,
he's putting the fluorescent guy over. So he needs strapped is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, well, Zach, it's up for debate still. I'm just going to say that you had made a lot of headway with me until I heard that stuff.
Yeah. Now, we could probably do a competition show like The Voice, where we spin around in a chair and then we can decipher whether certain person needs to be strapped.
So the obvious needs to be thrown out there. Who's Adam Levine and who's Blake Shelton?
I think I'm Blake Shelton because I'm super cool.
Well, Adam Levine is way sexier, even though Blake Shelton was sexiest man of the year.
Yeah,
but so was Adam Levine years before.
Yeah, but Blake Shelton's
You're Blake Shelton? I don't know, man. I think I
think I'm funnier than you. I think I'm funnier than you. I think Blake is funnier. Yeah, I think so.
Blake is funnier than Adam, but I don't know if you're funnier than me. It's neck and neck.
Matt, what do you think?
I was just going to ask if I could be Gwen Stefani or Miley Cyrus.
Okay, you know what? You can be Gwen Stefani, Jay can be Blake, and I'll be Adam Levine. Good, I like it.
Done.
Yeah, plus you got more tats than me, so
maybe I'll be Alicia Keys. No, it's J Hud this year.
Oh,
it's Kelly Clarkson next year.
Whoa, maybe I'll be.
I'll be Kelly Clarkson in a heartbeat. That girl can sing.
What was the? What was it? I can't remember his name now. The guy that sang. Fuck you.
CeeLo?
Yeah, CeeLo Green. I could be CeeLo because remember when he was on there, he had the cat, and he was always petting the cat. That could be me.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah. So before we move on to our guests this week, the Singhs, the Singh Brothers, who, if you don't know their story, you're going to find out their story. And it's just a really great story. I really like these guys. I really like their mentality, their attitude, their work ethic. All of that is going to come to light. If you don't already know it, you're going to know it after this pod. So before we get to that, Mega Matsky there, he sent us an email. I purposely don't read these things because I want to read these questions for the first time into this microphone so that we can all hear it and you get our real reactions and our real answers. There's nothing fabricated about this.
I think I erased it.
What?
No, I didn't.
I didn't. Okay. So
I didn't either.
Shut your pie hole. All right. First question is from Paul Lee. Hi, guys. I was listening to the pod where you talked about other guys asking if they could use your finishers, i.e. Tyler Breeze using the I'm Prettier. But what about in the 2000s where everyone from Batista to Lashley to Big Show seemingly started using the spear when Edge had been using it for years before them? In Tyler Breeze's case, Christian was already retired, but in the case with the spear, Edge was a main event guy at the time. I always wondered how you felt about that. I guess that's me to answer. Here's how I didn't care because if they worked me, I knew it was a cool spot that we could use. And that's how I always looked at stuff is, okay, if I work Dave, we can go for a double spear. And funnily enough, we both did that one time in a battle royal on Raw. All I heard was spear and I looked over and I saw Dave and he started charging and I started charging. So I assumed, he wants me to hit the spear. Except he went for it too. And then we banged head to head. And the next thing I knew, he was busted wide open and my big old cranium was fine.
Ooh.
I got a hard head, basically, is what that boils down to. So I didn't care.
As far as WWE goes, you were the first one using it there too. So I think people realize that.
Yeah, that stuff didn't bother me. And I always knew, like, I'd be the only one hitting it from a 20-foot ladder. You know, nobody else is going to do that. So I was always okay with it. All right. You got it, Bird? Do you want to read the next one, or do you want me to because of my silky, velvety
No, let me see if I can read better than you. So Adam McFarland, just want to say thanks to you guys for my awkward Tim Hortons drive-thru experience due to your podcast. I drive around and listen to your podcast all the time, and I have the volume turned up pretty high because Christian sometimes is a little quiet. Well, that has been fixed because we noticed that my volume was off. And
get to the question. Come on.
Anyways, that's the reason. Anyways, I went into the drive-thru right at the end of your last episode, the one with Bailey. The Tim Hortons girl came on the speaker saying, "Can I take your order?" And then on comes the voice of Edge talking about slapping Christian's ass, saying, "Give me that ass. I'm smacking that ass. I smack that ass." Yeah, I turned the sound off pretty quick at that point and made my order. I'm not sure how much of that she heard. Oh, well. As always, great job on the podcast. I listen every week, and it's great to hear all the real life stories from being on the road. Keep up the good work, guys. So that's not much to say there, but that's pretty great timing. And you know what? That's why we do those, hoping for those very moments that, and I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm hoping I'm loud enough for you to hear. So, but
you're a little bit of a mumbler. You're a little bit of a quiet talker. That's okay. We're trying to fix that problem. I like the fact that you were getting your Timmy's double, and someone thinks that you were smacking somebody's ass and trying to grab that ass in the car. That makes my day even brighter. That makes me smile. Yeah. What do you think about that, Bird?
Yeah, no, I like it. It makes us laugh while we were reading it. So that's good.
So there you go. All right, Daniel Rolandelli, Edge and Christian. Questions for both of you. One. Only one.
Yeah,
So
good thing you numbered
question
it.
for
It's
both
the
of
only
us.
one.
What is your funniest interaction with a fans? Man, that's a tough one. You get asked stuff like that, or like, what's the strangest thing you've signed? I really can't remember that kind of stuff too well.
Yeah.
I think one thing that is surreal for me now is when I see on Twitter or I meet someone who's like 28 or 29 and go, man, I met you when I was a kid. And it's like, oh,
yeah. I have this one story, and I think I told the one before because we had a similar one to this a while ago where I talked about a girl we were at a gas station. She turned around, saw me, threw everything she had up in her hands and screamed. Everybody stared at me, and it was weird and awkward. But so there's another one that's kind of funny. When I had my torn pec, I was flying from Birmingham, Alabama back to Tampa, and I was sitting at a gate, and this lady kept staring at me. And she was staring and staring and staring. And I'm like, oh, God. I was in pain. And, I'm sitting there and like, not a big deal. But she just kept looking at me and I was starting to feel weird. And then she finally leans over and she goes, excuse me. And I'm like, all right, here it goes. And she said, has anybody ever told you that you look like Dennis Quaid? Which, strangely enough, I get a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah. I said, actually, I do get that quite a bit. I said, but honestly, I get Christian from WWE a little bit more. And she sits back and she kind of looks me up and down. She goes, yeah, I guess I can see that. So that was a pretty funny one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a stretch, but
yeah. So
I don't know. I think of times where it's like the unexpected fan interaction or whatever. I remember I was in Bora Bora and I was going to go deep sea diving and I hopped on the canoe with the guide and big Polynesian guy looks up, he goes, Edge? And you're on a canoe in the middle of the ocean. You just, I don't know, you don't expect, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was in Nicaragua and there's like, I'm going down these dirt streets and like little by little, the village starts following. And I was like, what is going on here? And then they're like, Edge. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. What's up, guys? Like things like that will still, kind of throw you off.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's how kind of
ego.
So last one.
Jim Carter. Not to be confused with Jimmy Carter, former president of the United States.
Thank you.
Dear Edge and Christian, my question is, do you guys put up Christmas lights and decorate for the holidays?
All right.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah, he does.
Usually the day after American Thanksgiving, I'm out there putting up the lights, and I'm pretty proud of the job I do. I get a lot of good compliments. I don't go full Griswold where like it's a complete light show. I do just enough. But yeah, I'm up there on the ladder, and I shock. And I, put all the trimming lights up around the house, wrap my trees, put hidden lights in the bushes, and all that good stuff. Yeah, I'm really into it. And then, we pick out a real tree. Always get a real tree. Got to have that scent. And we decorate the tree. Have a little glue vine, which is a German, warmed up red wine with spices, and we decorate the Christmas tree.
Giddy up. Well,
Yeah.
You know what? I should, and I feel that I'm not living up to my responsibility now as a dad because I haven't.
Do it for your kids, you selfish dick.
Well, yeah, that's what I guess I got to do because the bane of my existence is light bulbs. I'm playing catch up on light bulbs constantly, and Beth will constantly make fun of me and say I am Clark Griswold because I'm always chasing the next light bulb.
Yeah.
When's it going out? I basically carry a ladder around with me all the time, which I guess I did before too, but it's come with me into civilian life. And I'm chasing the light bulbs. I'm chasing my next light bulb. So fine. I gotta add in Christmas lights to that. And, if Jay calls someone a selfish prick, that's a sad commentary on them. So I should probably do something about that. So there's my answer. Yes.
Good questions this week from the hosers, brother.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's about time, don't you?
Yeah, let's.
Yeah. You know what I do have to mention real quick? We're not afraid to mention other podcasts. No. Well, we know ours is fun, so listen to other podcasts. It's a good thing. This week, something to wrestle with. Bruce Pritchard.
Here. Hold on.
What?
You're saying that I'm going to put myself over. Now you're going to talk about yourself.
I'm not going to put.
Hours.
I'm not going to put myself over. I'm going to put over the fact that they put in 5 hours to talk about my career. Yeah. Man, thanks, guys. I mean, seriously.
I hope they had barf bags handy. like they have on the airplane.
That's the best thing you got.
I just came up with it off the top of my head.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I could tell. But anyway, what's interesting about that is I still haven't had an opportunity to listen to it, but Bruce was privy to stuff that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to, I don't think I'll be able to, it's weird to listen to somebody talk about you for that long, but I would be interested to hear some of the stuff that Bruce knew that I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know,
and
what the mindset of the booking committee but the office and what they were thinking and what decisions were made that I just didn't know about. So that would be cool to hear.
Well, and they do have a great podcast, and I haven't listened to everyone, but I have listened to a couple of theirs, and I actually did listen to.
Good.
No, they're very good. It's a great concept, and like I said, Bruce has a type of insight that not a lot of people have that or even privy to.
And Conrad asks really good questions too. He really kind of gets underneath some stuff. So that's good.
And there was I listened to not all of it yet because it was long. But
listening, were you?
Yeah. No, I listened to it, and I'm just going to mention me. Why wouldn't I listen to it? But,
there it is.
No, but like I mean, for the most part, there's certain things where when I was an education was just you, there were certain things where I didn't know, but like even for us, there were a lot of things like, oh, cool, I didn't know that, but also a couple where I was like, and I know I really like Bruce, and if it wasn't for Bruce, I would never have my job there. He was the first one that offered me my contract, him and JR. So, but there's a couple things where, I don't really think it happened that way, but I mean, there's so much stuff that he had to deal with too. That it's the case. Yeah.
That's always going to be the case where there's I think it happened this way. I do that all the time too.
I know in one instance he had talked about when you were feuding with Kurt Angle and had said that, and you guys were doing the hair versus hair, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't heard it, but it was originally supposed to be me and Kurt's spot, but I refused to cut my hair, which wasn't the case. I think he mixed it up with another storyline involving me and my hair. And because I think that you and I were separated at that point. Maybe, I don't know if
that was the Un-Americans hair thing, right?
Yeah, they had asked me to cut my hair for the Un-Americans, and I didn't even refuse to do it. I just said I would rather not do it for this, which I guess is pretty much refusing. And I realized at that time I was going to get heat, but you're also talking about a drastic change of your appearance, and I thought that it would get lost doing something that had a short shelf life, in my view. And I was willing to take the risk. No, I'm just saying.
It away now.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. And honestly, hindsight, I wish I had cut my hair when we first broke up. But I was, and we talked about it in the Brian Goretz one. I was a little bit not mature enough to see the right way to go at that point in time, brother. But we all live and learn and took the path we're supposed to take, and now here we are doing this fucking podcast.
Well, and I love how you made me commenting on someone doing a 5-hour podcast about me, about you. So there we go. We did what we usually do. But anyway, I wanted to just thank those guys.
It was really good. If you haven't done it, I said I haven't gotten through all of it yet, but it's really good. And if you haven't, and even go back and listen to the other episodes, because it's a very cool concept that they have for their podcast.
Yeah. Yep. So thank you. And I think without further ado, we get to our guest this week, my guests, again, the Singh Brothers, and listen to what they've been through to get where they are and where they plan on going. Here we go. Yeah, so here they are, everybody. We finally got them. They finally agreed to do the show. They decided to grace us with their presence. Here they are, the Singh Brothers.
Wow.
Oh no, they're big leaguing us, huh?
It only took 1 year. Canadians, big Canadians.
Yeah, right. You make it big. You make it big in the States, and you go, you know what, you fellow Canadians, we don't need you anymore. We're hightailing it down to the States to become rich and famous like Jim Carrey.
Well,
I don't know why Jim Carrey. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Well,
like Michael Bublé.
Okay. Candello was telling us, make sure.
Wait, you said Candello. Go on. Please go on.
I was saying Candello was telling us, hey, make sure when you talk to Adam and Jay that you big legal.
Yeah. He went, you tell the bastards, yeah.
Did you guys do some northern tours?
Oh, absolutely. That's how we pretty much got started by was following your guys' route.
Yeah, no, we told the story where it's like, I remember I bought your book in grade 11, and we were reading 1984, and I didn't read 1984. I ended up reading your book. And
Screw Orwell.
Yeah, hence why I never graduated college.
He never beat The Undertaker.
And I wrote down every tour you kind of did. And I remember you really talked about the Hell Tour. And so that's when we graduated high school, and we started wrestling. That was the first thing we tried to find out is how do we get on those Tony Condello Hell Tours.
And right after that, we were like, if they did the Hell Tours and they made it to the WWE, and that's the road we're gonna have to follow. So definitely did 2-3 tours of his, and lots of craft dinner and canned tuna and hockey bags.
Yeah, did you do it in the wintertime or did you do it in the summer?
Hockey bags. Oh. Nice.
CCM, baby.
Yeah.
That's what I had too.
That's a cool thing too. That's a little Canadian trick too, right? Like even especially in the summertime when it's not even hockey season, you're like, I'm going on a long trip, camping trip, wrestling trip, whatever. I'll just throw everything I got into it. I'll throw it in a hockey bag. That's the way it goes.
That was it. It was loaded with canned tuna and a lot of craft dinner. So yeah, we did the winter tours, winter death tours.
Yeah. Cool.
Or Condello says the Norton tours, the Norton tours.
Norton tour.
Norton tour. So for those that don't know, I know the story, and I'll explain how we met, and you guys can go in depth on that and everything. But for those that don't know, which is Jay, because he doesn't know the full story, and the listeners, fill them in on how this all starts, and after the death tours, like getting to the death tour, after the death tour, and beyond.
Yeah, for us it was like I alluded to earlier, we saw you guys, do what you guys did to make it to the WWE. And we were like, if we want to get to where we want to go, especially being from Vancouver, where, it's like the black hole of wrestling, a lot of good talent, but it's really hard to get out of there. We're like, we got to follow your path. So we did all the tours across Canada, obviously Tony Condello tour. And then after that, it was like, whenever, WWE came to Toronto, like they would hardly come to Vancouver for TV. So we saw one time in 2008, you guys came to Toronto, and I think, Adam, you were the world champion at that time. So we literally bought a one-way ticket to Toronto and flew down. We lied to security at Air Canada Centre that we were booked as extra, which we were not. We name dropped a few people, and we got through Air Canada security, started handing out packages, hustling, be like, hey, we're here for extra work. This is what we've done. We got our 8x10s. We got our DVD collections. Just doing random stuff like that to get to where we want to go.
Yeah, so we just snuck into an arena and totally just lied to security and started handing out promo packages backstage. And they were like, wait, who are these guys? They're not booked. And eventually security came and found us. They asked us to leave. And that was one of those where we bumped into Chris Jericho. And it was just one of those things. He told us, just keep hustling, staying out there. And it was stuff like that. We kept doing that. Kept going to camps, like the Harley Race camps, the OVW camps, anything to kind of get our name out there and stay busy, be in the eye of the people who could potentially get you a job.
Yeah. How long did you guys make it in the arena before security got you? Like were you there an hour, 2 hours?
No, we actually were there for a full day almost.
I think literally. I literally, honestly, I'm not even joking. I think we got there at 11 or 10 a.m. and we were there. Call times are normally 1 or 2 p.m. So we were there long before anybody even showed up, and we were just standing right in front of catering because that's what we were told. Like, hey, hang out by catering. That's where all the higher ups and all the talent go through. So we were just hustling. I remember bumping into who was it? We saw Vince, Triple H go through it. We had a moment like, should we hand our promo package to Vince? I don't know, is that gonna be the death knell? But that was where my brother was saying we bumped into Chris, and Jericho was like, you know what? I appreciate what you guys are doing, and he's like, just stay out there, keep hustling. And it's funny that just a couple of months ago, it was at the Air Canada Centre during the SmackDown tapings where we got our NXT contract switched over to the main roster. So it almost came full circle for us.
It's funny that you said that because we used to do something similar. It wasn't at a Raw TV or anything like that, but before WWE started running the Air Canada Center, they ran Maple Leaf Gardens, obviously, and we used to have to pay for these. As independent wrestlers, we had to pay for a commission fee to get a wrestler's license, and it was like $75 or something for the year. And we would show up at the house shows, at the live events, and we would same thing. We'd show security, like, "Hey, we're wrestlers, we're extras on the show." And we just show them our and it said wrestling license on it, and they would let us in. And we would just kind of same thing, stand there near the locker rooms and hope somebody walked past that was a higher up, and we could hand them an 8x10 or at that time a VHS tape, something to VHS to get on somebody's radar. So I appreciate what it is that you guys did, and obviously, there was kind of no plan B, right? You're just going balls out for it.
That was it, right? Exactly. We never really had a plan B. For us, it was, again, being from Vancouver, there was never any TV, no production ever came out this way. So we were like, we got to go where you guys are going out, and just bought that ticket, went out there. And I think having that mindset really helped us along the way, because it still took us 6-7 years after that to get to where we are now.
Mm.
Yeah, and that mindset will take you so far. And that was part of what Jay and I did. It would be make enough money from this tour to fly out to, Brett's house to show him what I could do. And then Jay, would do the same thing. And then it would basically be make enough on this tour to fly to the next tour, to get to the next tour, and so on and so on. And just keep driving and driving and driving until somebody got wind of you or heard about you or saw you or whatever it was. And the fact that you guys had I love this word, the gumption to do that, that's why a guy like Jericho would appreciate that. That's why a guy like me, when you told the story years later and now you're telling Jay, appreciates that, because we all in our own way did the same kind of thing in order to make it.
Absolutely. And that, going back to what you were just saying, doing the Harley camps and the FCW camps and doing the Rip Rogers OVW camps, it was, again, just being in front of the eyes of the higher-ups that were there scouting talent. Whether we got contracts out of those camps or not, it was just a matter of just being in front of the people.
Being in front of the people and also soaking in the knowledge from all those different names you just said, because one thing that I always learned that you could do from wrestling wherever you could, whether it was Bad News Brown or it was Rick Martel, it's always picking those brains and just seeing what ideas they have and the reasons why Harley Race is Harley Race, and just sitting at the bottom of his tree of knowledge and soaking it in. And between him and Rip Rogers and all these people you're saying, that's invaluable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was kind of like, it's like you're filling up a puzzle, it's like you take these pieces and you're trying to put them together. Okay, we do this camp, okay, we don't get signed out of it, but okay, we met somebody, and where does that connection take you? And, it's like you're trying to fill that puzzle in with the right pieces. And yeah, we never got signed out of that Toronto thing, or we never got signed out of a Candela tour, but it's just like one layer after another. And it's like 11 years later, you finally get that contract and you look back, you're like, okay, it all made sense. And, there was a reason everything happened the way it did. And it works out in the end.
Yeah. I mean, I what you were saying there too, there's very few people that look like a Braun Strowman or a Brock Lesnar where, the company might take a chance on them strictly because of the way they look. Like I said, there's not guys like that don't walk around.
They're freaks. Just say it. They're freaks, yeah. Man.
So, you have to, like you said, filling in the puzzle, getting knowledge, bring something to the table that's going to make you stand out from the next person that wants the same thing that you want.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. So, one thing that for us, we realized we had kind of a cool character. We were doing the Bollywood thing at that time, and being Indian and being ethnic was different. There wasn't very many Indian wrestlers on the independent scene at that time. So we were doing this thing where we were, Bollywood dancing to the ring. And again, kind of a little fast forwarding, our big break came when Jeff Jarrett and TNA, they were doing that Rinka King project in India in 2010. And they just happened to see a video on YouTube of us dancing. I think they typed in Indian wrestlers on the independents or something. And I was, I don't know where else, that's it could be very misleading. Try saying that 3 times. And it was just, we had a promo video on YouTube that they ended up seeing where we were wrestling with our wrestling highlights, plus we were dancing. And that's kind of what led to that
break. So it's just trying to find something that was different between us. We were small guys, and we knew that, but I guess we had something that was a little bit different that other guys weren't doing.
Well, be honest, guys. Did you ever contemplate, bleaching your hair blonde and being called the Bollywood Blondes?
Yeah, we got that told us numerous times. The Singh Brothers next week will come out with blonde hair. We could have been like young Edge and Christian.
You know what, guys? He is so proud of thinking of that right now.
Yeah.
Like he is doing the Barry Horowitz and patting himself on the back if he can get his old arm back there.
Actually, I'm doing a double bind in the mirror right now.
Oh,
yeah, of course.
I wonder if that would go on TV if we showed up next week with blonde hair. just showed up in girl eye. They're looking at us.
Yeah, save it for a rainy day, guys.
Hey, guys,
you
what's
might
up?
Need it. Yeah.
So I just want to reiterate here for a second, back to a point you just said. You said it through all the NXT and the all of these different schools and all these different people that you talk to and everything. 11 years to finally get your WWE contract. That takes an amount of stubbornness and guts and stick-to-itiveness that a lot of people would not see through. 11 years is a long friggin' time. So what do you think you guys having each other and each other to lean on and to boost each other's confidence, to just say, hey, we still got this? Do you think that was a huge element into that? Because I'm thinking someone on their own and slugging away for 11 years, it might be too much.
Absolutely. I mean, for us growing up, this is all we watched. Growing up as kids together, we played ice hockey together. We did taekwondo together. So everything we always did was together. And as hard as it was at times, we never lost hope. There was never that doubt in our mind that we're not going to get there. I remember specifically watching, and this is going to go way back, that old show that they had a show called WWE Confidential. I remember you guys talking about never losing hope. And guys, all exactly right. Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
You guys are fans.
Yeah. Good Canadian kids right after some Hockey Night in Canada watching some WWE Confidential. I remember you guys always talking about, you guys knew that you guys would get there, just never losing hope, never losing sight. And again, you guys were really inspiring to us because you guys came from Canada. You guys had that. You guys were real brothers, but you guys had that relationship where you guys never lost sight of what your ultimate goal and dream was, and that was to become, get to the WWE, become tag team champions. And, that really inspired us. And, your guys' story eventually, truly did help us along the way.
Yeah, and I think it's important. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to do quickly. And our parents, they were so supportive. They never, ever, you're 28 years old, 29 years old, never said, hey, go get a job or do this. They literally said, keep going, you'll make it. My dad always used to tell us, he's like, don't be a number, be a name, because he was a bus driver.
Wow.
And he's always going to be remembered by his bus driver number, his union number. But he's like, be a name where people remember you. And man, the parents' support meant so much. Having that, you come home from a, minimum wage job, work the independents on the weekend, do a tour, and then you come home, and to have that love and support at home just made you want to keep going. And especially being East Indian, growing up in Canada, most East Indian kids, is either a doctor, a lawyer, or engineer, the typical job. We were never forced to go into that field, or they were always 100% supporting us on our. I mean, as obviously 7-year-old kids growing up playing hockey in Canada, you all want to be the Wayne Gretzky's or Sidney Crosby. So that was one dream we had. But once we really got focused on wrestling and wanting to get to the WWE, we always, again, my brother and I, having each other helped us along the way, and having the support of our family, definitely.
Were your parents, were they raised in India, or were they born and raised in Canada?
Yeah, so our parents were raised in India.
Oh, wow.
Our dad immigrated. He immigrated quite young to Canada. He just I think he was about 24, 25, early 70s when he came, like 71, I think. And he did the grind, man. He like literally, you hear that story of $5 in your pocket. That's pretty much, what he had. And he used to sleep on telephone books, and he drove taxis, cleaned washrooms, and whatever it was to finally bring his wife over. And, he eventually settled in Vancouver. And then it kind of goes back to, again, why we never gave up, because I think our father would never have been kind of content if we just, had regular jobs. Like he did all that. He did every type of job possible, and he wanted us to have the best life possible. So that's why he never stopped us to, dissuade us from doing anything but living our dreams.
Well, he did that so you didn't have to, and he saw something, a bigger picture for you guys, and that's massive, to think, how proud he must be. How proud your mom must be, and hence the support that they gave you over the years and everything. But seriously, like being a dad now and knowing what he must feel after having, like you said, sleeping on phone books and things like that, to give you guys a shot to be able to do this, and then you do it and you make it.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine how big his heart must feel in his chest.
Yeah, no, it was cool. Like just a couple months ago, TVs came down to Seattle, and we brought them backstage and introduced them to pretty much everyone. They met Randy Orton, Triple H, and got to say thank you to them. And it was really cool having them experience that live TV environment and seeing it firsthand how it all goes down.
Yeah, that's a special moment, man.
And man, what a quote! What a quote! Like, don't be a number, be a name. Like, man, talk about something to hold on to for the rest of your life as a great mantra, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, no,
It's getting pretty deep and emotional, guys.
Yeah, I know. Let's pass around some tissues.
That one hit me. I'm not gonna lie. That one I was like, whoa, man. That one knocked me on my butt. That's good. That's some. You're pulling my heartstrings, guys. I already loved you.
That's a cool story though. But like, even taking a step back from that, when you were saying, having your brother there with you by your side and to help pick you up and those sorts of things, and it was very much what Adam and I did as well. But it's also having that person there to tell you sometimes the things that will help you that you might necessarily not want to hear. You know what I mean? The good things. Well, maybe you need to do this different. You need to do that different, but you need to hear it from somebody that you trust 100% completely. And then, so there's that side of it too. Did you find that?
Absolutely. I mean, even up to this day, like on the weekends when we finish up at live events, we'll always, my brother will criticize me or something that I did I shouldn't have done, and vice versa. So it's all, having that honest opinion and feedback definitely helps, and it keeps us minds fresh and going.
Like, we don't sugarcoat things with each other. We don't need to worry about like, oh, hey, you did this good with this. It's just straight up, hey, we fucked up. This is what we should have done. Or like either with being brothers, there's no screen here. Yeah, no filter, right? And so that's good. And we do get in arguments sometimes, and but it's all good and it's good hearted, and we know at the end of the day we're doing this because we love each other and we both want to succeed together.
He's lying. We got scorching heat between each other.
Yeah, see, now, I didn't pull any punches. I told Jay, I was like, man, you're horrible. You just got to switch everything you're doing. If you have a thought come to your head, switch it completely. And once he did that, he was good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I told Adam, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go to the office and tell him I don't want to be your partner anymore. And then I went to the office, and they're like, are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, no, I'm just kidding.
Just kidding. And the great thing is, like, my brother and I, even to this day, no one can really tell us apart, which is great. So it's like, if he screws up, I get the blame, or vice versa. It's great.
It was fun.
Man, Jay and I still get that. We still it's still all these years later, and they'll go through like the list. It's hey, Christian, Jericho, Triple H. It's like, come on. None of us. Well, I guess I do now have long blonde hair again, but just because we had long blonde hair, come on,
yeah. We don't help the cause. We both have beards and same haircuts.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in production meetings
and we're the same. And wear the same gear, too, in the ring. So
yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. So you do the Candelo tours, you hang out and loiter at WWE shows. What happens? you get some free catering, and then you start going around picking all of these brains. What happens from there? What fills the gap up until that 11 years?
Yeah, again, the stuff we did in India, Rinka King project, really helped put us on the map. I remember, WWE reached out. We were talking to them at that time. Things didn't work out, just timing and everything, whatnot. But we kept plugging away doing the indie circuit, and we had actually the turning point for us was in 2014 when we worked as extras in Portland, Oregon, and Harv had a good conversation, and both of us actually had a good conversation with Hunter that night, and he was telling, hey, listen, you guys are doing this Bollywood thing. Why don't you guys try to make this a real thing by going to India, maybe try to get into some film work and to see what can help you guys out. So Harv actually, I'm going to let Harv talk about this, but he literally packed up his bags and moved to Mumbai, and I'll let him explain the entire story here.
Yeah, no, I mean, at that point, we were like, okay, we've been wrestling on the indies. We kind of, it's only like, we felt like so far we can go on the indies. We did some stuff in Europe, went to Japan. It just felt like, okay, it's not really happening. And so when Hunter told me that, he's like, you're the Bollywood character, why not try to make it? I was like, nothing to lose. I'm 27 years old. What's the worst that could happen, No. So I literally, within a month, I packed my bags, knew nobody in Bombay, which is like the film capital of India. And I literally landed in India. I was like, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? And I just, started knocking on producers' doors and directors' doors and, started auditioning and going to casting directors. And it was like the starving artist thing and what you hear in Hollywood. Same thing, man. Just like literally taking my pictures and, getting rejected and going for another audition and this and that. And just 1 year, I just literally made my rounds in Bombay and ended up doing a couple of big projects and ended up working with a big movie star in India called Akshay Kumar. It's like the Tom Cruise of India. And after that, I felt like, okay, I kind of did my thing. And I sent that to Canyon Seaman, who is the talent relations for in NXT. And that was one thing they never ever said, don't contact us or don't say anything. And I sent that to him. He's like, wow, this is amazing. He was like, I'll pass it off to Hunter. And so it was like literally a year later from that, we got contacted for the Cruiserweight Classic. So I don't know if that kind of like expedited something or it was just one of those things that showed them that we can be versatile, but it was just part of the journey. You know what I mean? Like what else can I do to make it?
So you went for a full year.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it showed to them, well, okay, they're willing to take direction. Like these guys want to make it and they're willing to do and take the steps that, to try some things. So do you want to tell the story of how we met up in Vancouver or do you want me to go with my recollection?
Well, let's hear your recollection.
Yeah, let's hear it from you.
We just hung her outside your hotel, right?
So I was out in Vancouver and I was filming the WWE movie Interrogation, right? So Paul Lazenby, he's a strange, deluded man who claims to be my friend, and he stalks me. And when I'm out there, he thinks he's Steve Austin. He comes and knocks on my hotel room door and just, he's like John Cusack and Say Anything. He just stands underneath my hotel room with a ghetto blaster and, it's stuff like that. He claims that this character that he once apparently wrestled as, Deathwolf Fenris, went over on this guy named Adam Impact in Bloodvein, Ontario. I don't think it ever happened, but that's his claim to fame. Anyway, he calls me and he says, hey, there's a couple of guys in town, really, really good kids. And, they were just wondering if they could pick your brain. And I was like, well, I wanted to go hike the Chief. So if they want to take me out to the Chief and hike with me, yeah, I mean, as long as it takes us to get to the top and bottom of this mountain, they can pick my brain. Sure enough, you guys roll up and pick me up and take me out to the Chief, and we hiked the damn Chief, and you guys just picked my brain. And it was such a great afternoon. I just got my first iPhone. I'm all excited. I'm all happy. I want to, document this achievement as a, 41-year-old man or whatever I was. I was a little out of breath, but I kept up with you guys. I was kind of proud of myself. I get my phone out, drop it. It shatters on the top of this mountain.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was my recollection of that day. But more importantly than that, I was like, I really like them. They're good people, but more than that, they just, tried to, throw a Hail Mary here and find out this guy's in town. Hey man, here's another brain to pick, and a guy who took a similar path to what we're trying to take. Let's see what he has to say. And that went a long way with me. Yeah,
I remember you telling me
me out there, but I told you about it, Jay.
Yeah, I remember you texted me like, "Hey, there's a couple marks that want me to go hiking with them or something." And then
I knew it as soon as he went. I heard the tone shift. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna go full dick mode here."
And then you saying that they were asking you questions like, "Man, is Christian? Is he really that cool in real life?" and stuff like that. So I remember
we did play the theme song of your guys in our heads. You think you know me. You think you know me. You think you know me.
That's funny. No, I do remember Adam telling me about the story though, and telling me about you guys. So it's crazy.
My biggest fear that afternoon was just whatever happens. Don't let Adam fall. Don't let Adam fall on the mountain. They're climbing up the hill.
Oh man, I would have loved if he had gotten fucking mauled by a grizzly. That would have been awesome.
He really would have loved it if we got to the top and I was all happy and you guys pushed me off. That's what he really would have enjoyed.
It would have been great.
To make a name for ourselves in wrestling.
Whatever
Bollywood boys murder Edge.
Oh man, no evidence.
Yeah, right. So, from there, I've stayed in contact with you guys, and you guys have kept me up to date on how everything's going and all of the steps that have been happening. What was that? Was that 2012 or 2013?
Oh,
14, gee whiz.
Yeah.
Was it 15? Oh my gosh, I'm losing track.
Yeah.
Okay, so from 2015 when we met, what are the steps that get you to where you are today?
Yeah, so right between that was the same time we got called for that Portland, Oregon trip, and we did that. Harv goes to India, comes back. We finally get the contact for CWC, the Cruiserweight Classic. We go down, do the Cruiserweight Classic tournament, and this was our big break. And we were like, okay, so if we can impress the higher-ups here, we can hopefully get full-time jobs. And at the same time, we were like, you know what, if we don't get anything out of this, at least we made it to the show once. So let's just go out swinging. So we get down there, do the Cruiserweight Classic TV tapings. We both got eliminated the first round, but they brought us back for following tapings as well, which is a good sign. We were like, okay, that's something. Yeah, 3 dark matches before CWC tapings and a couple of NXT shows. So that was really cool. And right after that, we were told that we had impressed the higher ups enough that we were going to get full-time jobs. And and from there, we were told that, that's when the 205 Live journey started, from 205 Live to NXT, and here we are now.
I remember this specifically when we went for the Cruiserweight Classic. I remember we had a conversation, Edge, and we were just talking about like how we made it. No matter what happens after this, like we can't put that pressure on ourselves to like, get the contract. It was just like, okay, we made it this far. We can say we wrestled in the big leagues once. You played in the NHL once. I remember having this conversation with you, and it's just one of those things like, no matter what happens, we made it. No one can ever take that away from us. We were wrestling in a WWE ring, 2 brothers from Vancouver. We made it this far, and it was like a Rocky Balboa moment. It's like, just want to go the distance. No, don't want to win, don't want to do this, don't want to do that. Just want to, hey, we made it this far, and that's what we didn't put any pressure on ourselves going to the Cruiserweight Classic. We were just like, let's just have fun, let's soak it in. We're here, we're networking, and and when we did that, that's where we shined because we put no pressure on ourselves. I remember, man, we were all over the social media. We were doing the Bollywood dancing. We were doing everything. And I think that's where they were like, it was just more than the wrestling. That's where we realized it was like everything else that we brought to the table that they kind of probably looked at. They're like, okay, they're more than just, 2 guys who can wrestle.
Well, yeah, it's an entire package, and you can appeal to so many audiences. But more than that, I think people see when there's lifelong fans, when there's 2 guys who, and they knew your story, guaranteed. They knew it was 11 years. They knew how much and how many things you had to go through, and that you packed up to, try and be a Bollywood star on their suggestion. I mean, there's not a lot of people who are going to do that, man. I'm telling you right now. So the fact that you guys did all of that, that goes a long way in the eyes of the decision makers that know, man, these guys, they're just, bulldogs. They're not going to give up on this, are they? And now here you are. So you talk about 205 Live, and I remember we had talked after that, and it was, I remember you guys were like, oh man, I don't know how well we did, and that's to be expected because it's a pressure cooker.
Right.
But then, what is it? Maybe like a month later, you show up and start doing this angle with Jinder.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
is that about right,
so
time wise?
Yeah. So 205 Live happened. The first episode happened like a year ago today, about November last year. And right after the first match, so we got sent down to NXT, the PC, and we put in 6-7 months down there after being
okay, so it felt like a month to me. But it obviously felt longer for you, so I apologize.
But yeah. But in all seriousness, spending the 7 months at the PC was the best thing that ever happened to us, because not only were we able to learn the WWE style of cutting a promo, standing in front of a camera, how to project your voice, and coming up with ideas like the PC itself, like, working the hard cam. We didn't know any of that stuff going into 205 Live because we were just, still so green to it. We just didn't know anything. We didn't know any better. So going down to the PC and spending time with Brookside, Coach Smiley, and Shawn Michaels, who was down there and really starting to get hands-on with us as well, and building that relationship with him, like, you can't go wrong. So learning that WWE style of how to operate and how to do things was the best thing that ever happened to us. And getting that call was out of the blue. We were pitching all these ideas for, hey, let's do this Bollywood gimmick here. Let's do this Bollywood talk show here. So we had all these ideas that we were pitching constantly week after week. And it was literally after a yoga class on a Friday afternoon, I have a missed call, a 203 area code missed call on my phone. And I'm like, oh no. Right? So
it's either, oh, that's really good or really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I called that number back, and it was Travel saying that they need us for Tuesday in Louisville, Kentucky for SmackDown. And here we were thinking that, they're bringing us back for 205 Live. But we get to Louisville that Tuesday, and they smartened us to the idea of pairing us off to Jinder, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to us.
Yeah, that's usually how it works out. Like, it usually is something completely out of left field when you're not expecting it. But you were still laying the groundwork by pitching ideas and being invested when you were down there and using your time wisely. So eventually, it was going to pay off with something like this, and then you embraced it, and now you guys are off to the races.
Absolutely, and here we are, like 7 months later, working programs with Randy Orton and Shinsuke and AJ Styles, and that's been the best education that we could possibly ask for.
Well, and like you guys said, coming into WWE, and sure, you've been working for 11 years, but how would you know how to work the hard cam? How would you know, all of the different elements that go into the beast that is WWE? It's a different thing entirely. So the fact that you had that 6-7 months to go back down to NXT and sit down with all those names you said, but specifically with Shawn Michaels, man, I mean, seriously, you have sat down with some of the brains and talents in this industry that, like, people, it's invaluable. I know I said that before, but that's a laundry list of some amazing wrestling minds that you've been able to just pull from. So you get all of that information, and now there you are on SmackDown. You're in Punjabi prison matches, taking 40-foot bumps off of wooden cages. You're taking Styles clashes off the second rope into splashes and doing all of these things. You feel good, you feel ready for this, and now you're working all of these guys. But still, you have to be like, damn, this is all happening, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, kind of backtracking to just Shawn Michaels. He really did help us a lot. Like, we kind of had lost our confidence after 205, and we talked that with you too. Like, it was just such a, you think you come in and you're ready for it, and it's not. It's kind of like taken away. And I think when we worked a few NXT matches, we were trying to do the Rockers thing with the Bollywood Boys thing. It was kind of like very much with the tassels and the gear and everything, the dancing. And I remember he watched one of our PC live matches, the ones we just do for the coaches at the Performance Center. And we did it, and he pulled us aside, and he's like, "You guys got to go with heel." He's like, "If you guys stay babyface, you guys are going to be dead in the water." And at that time, both me and my brother I was telling him, "Hey, let's try to be heel," and brother felt no, and we should be babyface. We really didn't know. And once he said that, we're like, let's do that. And we started pitching stuff every day for NXT TV to be healed. And then we got the dark match for NXT TakeOver at WrestleMania, which you were at, where Beth was getting inducted that week. And that was kind of a big confidence booster for us because we got the dark for NXT TakeOver. And there's 100 guys in NXT, trying to claw their way, and we got that. And we were like, wow, okay, we're on to something. And then out of 2 weeks out of that, we got the call to go to Jinder. And I feel like Road Dogg was down there, and they kind of saw us work heel. And I don't know if that sparked the idea to put us with Jinder or not. But, we showed up, and Road Dogg was the guy who said, hey, you're kind of doing this thing that I kind of did with Jeff Jarrett. And he's like, this is an amazing opportunity to work all the top guys like AJ, guys like Randy, Shinsuke, John Cena. It's like it's happening so fast, and you're kind of like in the thick of it, and every day you're literally like, wow, we're doing this. We're opening segment on SmackDown, which was like 2 weeks ago with AJ, and that just blew our mind. Like it was a 10-minute segment opening SmackDown with AJ. We're like, wow, stuff like that. It's just like it doesn't go unnoticed to us. We're like, wow, it's like there's huge opportunities every week to kind of show what we can do.
Well, I think too, going back again to where you guys said you were pitching ideas all the time, even after the 205 Live thing, and you still continued, even if your confidence was shaken, you're still going to pitch ideas. So again, that doesn't go unnoticed, and that's why a guy like Sean would see you and go, wait a minute, I see something here, and this is what I see. And I remember you guys telling me that Sean said that. I was like, that is an amazing idea. I think you guys would do really well as heels. And once you do really well as heels, you can eventually turn babyface, and then even, the other night, in the promo with AJ, I was like, they could very easily turn babyface through this whole thing. It's been a pretty fun ride, especially for me to watch, because I know all of the backstory, and now a lot more people are going to know the backstory that didn't before. So it makes it that much more enjoyable for me to see you out there with, AJ doing a 10-minute promo, like you said, and having handicap matches with them and having these, creative, cool finishes, or like I said, taking these insane bumps off of cages, or, styles clashes on the floor, or whatever it is. Like I've said it on this show before, repeatedly to Jay, I was like, these guys are earning their keep. They're busting their asses to stay there now that they're there.
Yeah. And that's just it, right? We know we ought to maximize all the minutes that we do have to, showcase what we can do. So it's just a matter of doing that. And honestly, guys like Randy have been so giving to us, and he's been full of ideas with us, and we've been sharing back and forth ideas. And we've learned so much from Randy in the last 4-6 months. It's just unbelievable. Just sitting with him for the last 6 months, listening to him put a match together, why he does certain things, when he does it, and listening to the crowd, and on the indies, you hear, oh, slow down, and then you watch him work in the ring. You can't learn that in a classroom setting, and we're so thankful to have spent that time with Randy, and but again with AJ as well, like having him put a match together with Jinder and seeing what they do and why they do it, where they do it, and it's something you can't learn, in a classroom setting. So it's like the best education we're possibly getting night after night, and we're so thankful for that spot just to get this education.
Yeah, well, it's all equity too, right? That you're putting back in, so you can use this stuff when it is time for you guys to become a tag team, and then eventually singles, or however it goes for you guys. But there's so many other directions that you can go, and like I said, you're building the foundation of what your characters are, and the knowledge you're gaining from these things, and you can apply these when you finally break away and start to do your own thing, whenever that may be. But so you think you guys are looking at it completely the right way.
Absolutely. And again, even with Jinder, like it makes it so much easier knowing that we've known Jinder for like 13 years as well, because we all pretty much started out in Western Canada at the same time. So traveling with Jinder, hitting the gym with him knowing where everything is, hitting the road with him, it just makes life a lot easier, just having, his support as well.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to, in a way, our experience with Gangrel, with Dave and the Brood, in that, Dave had been around the horn and knew everyone in the locker room, and there's these two new young kids coming in from Canada. And I think that's part of the reason why they put us together, is so that Dave could kind of ease us into the locker room setting, the life on the road setting, all of those things. And it's great to be able to have Jinder to be there for all of those things, because the road can be overwhelming initially if you're not used to it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember the first time we got called up to the main roster. I remember we called you. Remember, like, hey, we don't know anybody. You remember that? We were in
yeah.
At that time, you're like, you're just gonna have to do it, guys. You're just gonna have to, it's just like, don't bother me anymore.
you just okay. It's now you got to swim, guys.
Yeah, that's pretty much it is. Like, you can't hold our hand now, all the way through, right? And again, like going into the locker room with the guys like the Usos there and earning their respect, and there's being with Jinder, okay, like he could tell us what to do, and going on these European tours and cleaning up the locker room and handing the beers to the boys and just stuff like that, which we don't know, but he's smart enough to do things that getting up to the main roster. And then just life on the main roster is so different, man. It's like 4 days on, 2 days off, and the third day is that travel day. It's like, okay, you're back. It's people don't realize it's how tough it is. And it's a grind. And, again, being with a guy like him, knowing where the gyms are, knowing what hotel to stay at, where the airport's at, it's just, okay, we're starting to learn how to be on the main roster, how to survive. So when that, whatever comes next, we're ready for it all, not just the wrestling part, but life on the road.
Yeah, and you guys are back in Vancouver now, right? So you talk about the grind and the travel. You guys have just added it by traveling back to the West Coast every week.
Yeah, we're between Florida and Vancouver. I mean, the reason we really want to stay in Florida as well is just so we can continue to go to the Performance Center on our days off, get to the gym, hit the ring, and again, having to spend that time with Sean. We have that open communication now, so whenever we want to talk to Sean at the Performance Center, he's willing to help us out. So it's just that right there in itself. We're like, hell yeah, we're going to stay in Orlando as long as we can to
That's cool.
maximize our time with him as well.
That it's very reminiscent. Last week we had Kurt Hawkins on, and when the Edgeheads thing split up and they had nothing for him, he on his own dime went down to FCW just to keep training and learning and showing them what he could do and stay on the radar. It's a really good idea.
That's it, right? And we know we're hungry for success, and we want to do so much. Longevity is key for us, and you guys were saying earlier, and we're building that equity and hoping to have the same long careers that you guys did. And again, your guys' story inspires us to continue, and we want to achieve the same goals that you guys did as a tag team and whatnot.
I appreciate that. And, the thing is, I've always said that getting there and staying there are two different things. There's a lot of hills to climb, and getting there is one, and there's bigger ones once you get there to stay, relevant and fresh and to keep yourselves moving forward. But, speaking of big things that you already have kind of been able to do, how was it to finally go back to India and get to perform there, especially with Harv being, the Bradley Cooper of Bollywood?
I'll take it. That was amazing. We actually we went down 2 days before for media. That was the first time doing media for WWE, and again, just that was another thing, learning to be representing the company in front of all these media outlets. Like we did a thing with Times of India, and their reach was 200 million viewers.
Crazy.
While we're on the Facebook live with Jinder.
Wow.
We're like, that's a lot of people that are going to be watching what the WWE is doing. So, the way you're representing the company. And it was just 2 days of literally 9 hours of people coming in, asking you questions, taking pictures on camera. And it was just an amazing experience. And then the show itself was just, it was like, again, one of those things, like it was a dream come true, to go back to your homeland and perform on that level and share the spotlight with, Jinder and Triple H, and we had that thing at the end where we danced with them and then got pedigreed. It was just one of those things that it went viral. That video alone, I think everybody was talking about it the week after on SmackDown, and I believe they were about to show it, but then they decided not to show it on SmackDown because or whatever. But it's just one of those things, man. It's just taking everything we're given, and then you get those moments where it's like, wow, you're getting to go back to your homeland and you get treated like a star. It was just truly amazing.
For the company to put you in the position to know that they can trust you in front of that audience and represent the company, that's a good sign. You know what I mean? Not only that you're involved in main events and now with Jinder as a main event guy and being involved in all of that, it's not going unnoticed.
Yeah, exactly it. And we're so proud to be able to represent the company. Again, it comes full circle for us because, India, that's where our parents are from. So being able to go back there and represent not only the company, but our family, our heritage and everything, it all comes full circle for us. And, quite emotional as well, just because so many of our family members from India who have supported us over the years were able to just, they couldn't make it, but they were happy to know that we were there representing the company and representing our family. So, again, yes, being able to have that support of the company is a big deal to us.
Well, and you talk about India, but also you guys got the chance to work in Vancouver, and I know your parents got to be there, and I know you guys are really excited about that. How did that feel too?
Yeah, again, another cool moment. Our very first live WWE event was in July of '96, and all those years we kept the ticket stubs of where we sat. So that night, before the show, Harv and I went up to the same seats where we sat as 10-year-olds or 11-year-olds or whatever it was back in '96. We took a picture of that, and it was pretty cool to go back and sit there and not only just sit there, but be like, hey, we're going to be part of the show here tonight. So that was really cool for us. And people are like, how do you remember where you sat all those 20-plus years ago? As well, because I kept the tickets. We're big fans.
Wow.
Wow, I think we probably had you guys beat. I don't know.
But you know what? It's good to hear that stuff, though, and it's good to hear that you don't lose that stuff. I remember doing the same thing with Skydome, and remembering where my seat was for WrestleMania 6, and then for WrestleMania 18, there I am on the show, and looking down from the ring at those seats, going, "Man, this happened. This really happened," and it's fun to be able to experience that. So I'm glad you guys got to experience that. That's what can you say, yeah. Birdman? That's like, I know there's more to come for you guys. I know we got a long career down the road, but that is pretty damn good so far.
Yeah, no, for 7. I remember when we came out at Rogers Arena in Vancouver and we did the entrance, and I looked down and our mom was crying, like just tears coming down her eyes, and I was like, we're trying to be these badass heroes with Jinder, and it's like, I don't think I could do it tonight. Right? It was just one of those really cool moments to see your parents front row, in the same arena they brought you as 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds.
Yeah, it's crazy how it all turns out. I always say too that the cool thing about the wrestling business is that it allows you to be a fan as well as a performer, right? And once you are a fan, you never lose that. So those moments are definitely kind of even like Adam said, you kind of morph back into your childhood where you're like, man, you have to pinch yourself that this kind of stuff is really happening. But you guys made it happen, so congratulations, man. And I know there's some bigger things for you guys even in the future.
Thank you. That means a lot. I just want to know, who came up with the name Sexton Hardcastle? Can we please find that out?
Well, so this was an amalgamation of Sin Bodhi, a.k.a. Kazarni, a.k.a. Nick Savekovich, CVJ, ETK, OVICH, a.k.a. Fatty. And when we would sit in French class, we would come up with the most ridiculous names we could think of. So Hardcastle came from the old TV sitcom Hardcastle and McCormick. And Sexton was just the most ignorant first name that him and I could come up with. He was called Decker Hard, and Jay was called Sweet Daddy Freakout. Yeah.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. That's all we did in French class. That's why I can only count to 10.
I think the Singh Brothers should keep that in the pocket for later on.
Yeah.
We'll come out with Punjabi versions of those names.
Well, now, guys, I know we've talked about how humble you are and everything, but I know you got other things to do. You're big leaguing us. You got to go. You got to run and go do other things. I get it. We got you for the hour, so we got to be happy with that.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much for having me.
But seriously, though, it was great having you. I'm glad you got to, kind of fill people in on what exactly the road was for you guys to get there. Because, I mean, like I said, I know it. I don't even think Jay knew it fully. So it'll be eye-opening for a lot of people. What the work you guys put in, you deserve. And I can say this without a shadow of a doubt, with every fiber of my being, you guys deserve this. And I'm super, super proud of you guys.
You really should have big leagued him by saying, when he asked you to do this, been like, you know what, if these guys want to do a podcast with me, they can, we want to go hike Mount Crumpet, so they can come with us if they want. And
Mount
whatever.
Crumpet, the Grinch, really?
Yeah, that's all I had. But you should have done.
Did you ever get your iPhone fixed from that fall on the mountain there?
No, I drove down to LA with a cracked phone down the coast, and then when I got to LA, I went to Santa Monica, and I went to the iTunes or the Apple store there. I don't even know how to say it. Man, that was a lot.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it, though. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Best of luck. Good to talk to you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
See you guys. All right, Birdman. I know you got to go because you got Lightning games to go to. You got to get your dad out of the Winnebago. You got to take him to the hockey game. You got to take the in-laws to the hockey game. I get it. You're the British Knights ambassador for the Tampa Bay Lightning, so you're gonna go and you're gonna do your little social media tweets and what?
I'm not tweeting. No, I'm not. I'm not working on behalf of Lightning tonight. I'm not the social media ambassador. I'm just going as a bystander, just want to enjoy the game. As a fan.
All right.
And I'm taking my family because you know what? I treat my family well, unlike some other people on this podcast who don't even put up Christmas lights, but that's neither here nor there.
Nice. I like how you work that back in. Hey, the Singh Brothers, it was great having them on. Amazing to listen to what they've done. And, just that quote, be a name, not a number. I mean, man, if that's not a thing to hang your hat on and try and go after in life, I don't know what is. So, really good stuff. Really good guys. Really good kids. I hate saying kids. Really good guys. Man, I hope the absolute best for them because I can't say enough about them as people too.
Yeah, no, it was good conversation, good guys, and like I said, they have plenty more to do after their run with Jinder, but it's going well, so they should do that as long as possible. And then, they're talented guys, driven guys, hungry guys, so no doubt they will be around and doing their thing for a while. So look out for the Singh Brothers, brother.
All right, Bollywood Blondes. Jay, the Birdman, has to go roll. He has to go fly the coop.
And let me tell you guys something out there in Hoserland, brother. Oh, I want you all to have happy holidays. Oh, I want you all to have a Merry Christmas, brother.
Oh, that's right, baby.
Oh, I'm talking about...
Have a big old Christmas. Get some eggnog. Maybe throw a little bit of whiskey in there, too. There you go, baby.
And just so you know, my protege, Paul Smackage, might have left a little small package under your tree. Oh, you look out for it, brother.
You deal with nothing but small packages, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's one of those Jack in the Boxes. You spin it around.
Yeah.
My hand will pop out of that present and slap you right on your ass. Oh, you look out for it, brother.